Hi everybody, I'm gonna be making some calabacitas con queso. It's an old Mexican traditional dish. These are little summer squash with pillows of panela cheese. And this dish is a little soupy, but hearty at the same time. And it's perfect for this time of year. And I'm gonna show you how to make it step by step. Let's get started. Now I'm gonna be boiling these 2 Roma tomatoes. And I've got 1 serrano pepper in this little saucepan. And I put it in a few minutes ago because it takes a little bit longer to boil than the tomatoes do. So I'm gonna let the tomatoes boil until the peel starts to come off. So I have turned off the heat. I've gotten my serrano pepper out. Now as you can see, the skin is coming off. I'm gonna let them cool for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then I'm gonna put them into the blender. So I've got my blender ready right here. I've got my tomatoes. I have removed the skin, as you can see, and removed the core. So I'm gonna put my 2 tomatoes in here with my serrano pepper. And I'm gonna add 1 cup of water. Now this is all I'm gonna add to the blender because everything else is gonna be going into my pot. Right now I only wanna make a tomato sauce. So I'm gonna blend these very good. Just like that. And I'm gonna let it sit here for a little bit and get started on our next step. So now that I have my tomatoes and my serrano pepper nice and blended in the blender, I'm gonna grind my spices. I've got half a teaspoon of peppercorns. See? Half a teaspoon of whole cumin. Half a teaspoon of Mexican oregano. And I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, just a little bit. That helps grind it up really well. Now I like to grind my spices fresh like this in the molcajete. But if you don't want to go through this process, you can just use the powdered form. I just think that grinding them fresh really gives this dish an authentic taste. Now I've got 2 large garlic cloves right here, and I'm gonna grind these up really well too. So now that I have my peppercorns, my garlic, my cumin, and my oregano nice and ground like this, I'm gonna add half a cup of water right here in the center. And I'm gonna bring it all in together. This is what's gonna give that dish that authentic taste that makes it so delicious. See, here it is. So I'm gonna set it aside and get started on the next step. Now I'm gonna be using this brazier right here. And I've got my heat set on medium. I'm gonna put in 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. See? And I've got half of an onion right here. And I have cut it julienne style like this. And I'm gonna add it into my brazier. And I also have 3 green onions with the green part. And I'm gonna add them in here too. I just love the taste of the sweet onions with the green onions. I'm gonna move them around like this for just about a minute. And let them release their flavor into the oil. So it's been about a minute, and oh my gosh, these onions just smell super delicious. And it's just the onions. Now I'm gonna add my yellow bell pepper. I've got about 1/3 of a bell pepper, and I have diced it up into pieces like this. Now the reason I wait about a minute before I put in my bell pepper is because the bell pepper releases liquid, and I want nothing else in there but the onions, because I want the onions to release that flavor into the oil. See? So now I'll give this about 1 minute. So it's been about a minute, and my bell peppers have also released their flavor because I can smell them. They smell wonderful. Now I'm gonna add my tomatoes. I've got 3 Roma tomatoes, and I have diced them into pieces like this, as you can see. I'm gonna add some salt. You can add as much salt as you want right here. And I've got my blender mixture right here. I'm gonna pour it in. See, it's just like a tomato sauce. And that's all I want in there. And I'm gonna add my molcajete mixture right here, all my spices. You can see I like to put in onions julienne style like this. But you can put in diced onions if you want. I just like a lot of texture in this dish. That's why I cut them like that. Now I'm just gonna let this come up to a light boil before I put in my next ingredients. Now as you can see, everything's come up to a light boil, and oh man, does it smell beautiful in here. Now I've got 1 teaspoon of tomato paste. I like to put in tomato paste into this dish because it gives it a little bit of sweetness, and it is so good together in here. Now I've got 3 teaspoons of better than bouillon right here, chicken flavored. I'm gonna add them into my brazier. Get it all in there. See, look at this. See? So now that we have it at a light boil like that, I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit, because a dish like this, you wanna cook it a little bit slow. You wanna take your time because you want all those flavors to come in together. I'm gonna replace my lid, and I'm gonna just let it simmer like that for about 6 to 8 minutes. So it's been about 6.5 minutes. And as you can see, our tomatoes are nice and mushy, see? Now before I put in my next ingredient, this would be a good time for you to taste it and adjust the salt. That's what I'm gonna do. It's perfect, just the way it is. So I've got my calabacitas right here, and I have cut them up into small pieces like this, as you can see. I'm gonna add them into my brazier. I've got one right here next to me, and I'm going to show you what they look like. See, this is the one that I'm using. If you can't find these, you can use zucchini. And I also have 1 cup of fresh corn. This is the corn that I had in my freezer from this spring, and I thawed it out. And here it is. So I've got 1 heaping cup. So now that I brought it all in together like this, I'm gonna let it cook for about 20 minutes. Now I've got my heat set on medium-low. I wanna cook this just at a low, medium heat, so it'll come in together and taste delicious. So I'm gonna replace my lid, and I'll see you in about 20 minutes. So it's been 20 minutes. See? And now our calabacitas are nice and tender, but they still have a few minutes to go. Add my panela cheese. See? I cut it up into cubes this size. This cheese is delicious. It's very creamy. It's a little firm. A little bit like queso fresco, but not so much. See? And I'm gonna add some cilantro. Now this is optional if you don't want to add cilantro, but I really love it in here. See, just like that. So I'm just gently going to move it around like this. See how beautiful that looks? I'm gonna lower the temperature to low. And I'm gonna give it 7 minutes, and then I'll be back. So it's been 7 minutes. As you can see, it looks perfect. Now I'm gonna replace my lid, turn off the heat, and I'm gonna let it sit there for 5 minutes with no heat. So it's been 5 minutes. Still nice and hot. Look at this. See? See how soft and pillowy these cubes of cheese are? So now we're ready to serve. See, look at that. Mmm. Now I've got some Mexican rice over here that I think goes perfectly with this dish. See? Just like that. So I've got these corn tortillas that I just made. I'm gonna put a little butter on them because that's how we like it. And then just a little pinch of salt. Then roll it up. Look at this. With a little bit of the rice. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I totally give it a 10. So good. You know, when you take a spoonful of this, the cheese is pillowy soft and is just perfect with this dish. So these are my calabacitas con queso. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, and send me a comment and tell me what you think. Thank you. Mmm.